What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about the best tips for wide receivers to never drop a pass. Now, the first tip, guys, to help us never drop a pass is going to be focused on a bullet pass from a quarterback. So let's say as a wide receiver, I'm running like a 3-step slant, off coverage from a DB, I cut, snap my head, ball's right there from the QB. A lot of receivers struggle with this because what they will do is they will let the nose of the football pass their nose, and that's why that ball will almost shoot through the middle of their hands. So the first tip that can help you stay more consistent with a bullet pass over the middle is you don't want to let the nose of the football cross your nose. Keep your nose behind the nose of the ball, as that can help you look in, focus in on the 4 points of the ball, aka the 4 quadrants, to help you look that thing in and secure the catch. So don't let that nose of the ball cross your nose. Now also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver or even a quarterback watching this video, we are going to be traveling out to 12 different cities across the entire US for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camp. So guys, if you would like to sign up to work with myself and my staff of coaches, check out that very first link in the description below. We're going to be coming out to Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, then after that we'll be coming out to Las Vegas, Nevada, Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Illinois, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, then we'll be heading out to Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you're local to any one of those cities, go to that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out, and we'd love to have you out there for 2 full days for our QB and wide receiver training camps. Now, tip number 2 is going to help with, I would say, probably like 95% of drops for wide receivers, and that is going to be thinking of an analogy when you catch the ball to make sure that you look it all the way in. Now, I know a lot of receivers hear this all the time. Oh, hey, look it in, watch the ball in. But like, I feel like sometimes that gets oversaid, and I feel like that doesn't click for wide receivers in their head. So I think if you could focus on like a trigger phrase to help you look the ball in, that can give you a little bit more benefit. So a phrase that I'll tell with my receivers is you want to pretend, and it's kind of a weird phrase, so it helps you remember it, but you want to pretend your eyes are like a camera, and you're trying to take a photo of the ball. And when you're taking that photo, you want a perfect photo. You want only the football in your line of vision, and that's going to help you look that thing in, watch it all the way to your hands, and be more consistent with it. Because I think a lot of receivers think they're watching the ball in, and then when that ball makes contact with their hands, it's like it's half in and half out. So if you could focus on that take a photo phrase, I think you'll be more consistent with your catches. Now, tip number 3 is going to help wide receivers stop having the ball bounce off of the palm of their hands. So what tip number 3 is catch the ball in the webbing of your hands. So what do I mean by webbing? I don't mean like your fingertips. You never want to be that receiver that's like trying to like fingertip the ball, because it's not going to be very consistent, but also that's a great way to jam your finger. But you don't want to let it hit your palms either. You want to try to stay in this like webbing strong part of your fingers, because I feel like that's how we get that like soft hands type catch. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever been around like a pro level wide receiver, but when you throw them a pass or when they catch the ball, you could barely hear it hit their hands. That's because they have soft hands, aka catching the ball in the webbing of their hands. Now, some of you younger guys may struggle with that a little bit because you don't have the strongest hands. So working on your grip strength is a great way to improve that. Doing fingertip push-ups, hanging from a pull-up bar, doing one of those like grip squeeze tools, but any of those things can help strengthen your fingers, strengthen that webbing, and make you more consistent with that soft hands type catch. Now, this next tip is going to help wide receivers catching over the middle and also catching in traffic. I think a lot of times drops will come from a receiver. Let's say I got a DB who's right on my hip, I'm over the middle, I catch the ball, I hold this thing out away from myself, and a DB's going to make a play and knock this thing out of my hands. Obviously, how we can prevent that as a wide receiver is by being violent to the tuck. So this really goes for any catch, and this is something you should practice even when nobody's around as a wide receiver, just playing catch with a quarterback. As the ball is thrown to you, catch, we're putting this thing as quickly as we can to the tuck, because then a DB can't make a play on the way down. I think a lot of times wide receivers get in a bad habit because like they try to look the ball in and frame the catch, and they hold it away from themselves, almost like they're trying to like strong grip the ball. That's a bad habit to get into, where a DB could knock the ball out. And especially in the days of 7-on-7, a lot of camps, or you're not necessarily worried about fumbling, they'll catch the ball and they'll run with it away from themselves or run with it in one hand. Again, 3 bad habits right there that you want to try to avoid as a receiver. So anytime we catch over the middle, catch in any situation, be violent right to that tuck. Now, the next tip for wide receivers is going to be for over the shoulder catches. So if this ball is thrown over the shoulder, I think one of the common mistakes or common things that you'll see wide receivers have happen to them is that ball will be thrown and it'll go like right through the middle of their hands. And it's almost like they're trying to clasp onto the ball, or the ball just falls right through the middle. So I think a simple way to fix that problem is by having your pinkies as close together as you possibly can when that ball is thrown over the shoulder. Like, there's a great catch. I believe it was a playoff game, or maybe it was like to get to the playoffs, but it was the Commanders versus, like, I want to say the Bengals this past year, where Terry McLaurin had a great over-the-shoulder catch, and you see his hands when you break it down in slow motion. His pinkies are like touching. Now, you don't want to be like this because the ball's going to roll out of your hands. You want a normal, like, kind of like hands almost facing forward, slightly position, but those pinkies are as close together as possible so the ball doesn't go through the middle of your hands. And then it's just simple. You watch it into your hands, secure that catch, take that photo, and you'll be way more consistent with over-the-shoulder passes.